Mr. Bradley, Mr. Martin, hear us through the hole in thin air. Sting police, all boardroom reports now are ended. Fading out in Honolulu, Newark, Harris, Home, Austin. The great wind, revolving turrets, towers, palaces. Sound and image flakes fall. His dogs that were his eyes shut off, Mr. Bradley, Mr. Gone away, pulled the reverse switch. Place no good, no bueno. Turned off the Swedish River of Gothenburg, Saturday, March 17th, 1962, past time. These colorless sheets are empty. You never existed at all. I smoke is all, boy. Goodbye to William. Ahab, last twinges of a coffin, posting this book where the awning flaps a distant thank you. Explosion splits the boat. SOS, 5 times SOS. Here this little time, 5 scars left the dawn. Goodbye to Mr. Martin, who never had courage to let go. He heard your summons, time hiccups. Last cigarette, loud and clear. Last flag fading. Rings of Saturn in the morning sky. Whatever remains could give no human contacts. Front for the hot reward business. Chinese youth sent the resistance vision to you tilting through pinball machines. Remember, I was the ship gives no flesh identity. Lips fading. Silence to say goodbye. If you wanted a cup of tea with whatever remains, red knife in the heart, vague quivering excuse for being. Shadow American, look anyplace, empty news. Our actors proffer the account. Sheets are empty. Many years ago, that red knife in the war, inessential word from the past. For I have known through faulty human equipment the vacant courage to let all messages in and out. To the mountain wind, loud and clear now. Through faulty human equipment hustling myself. Your stale overcoat not taking any dirty pictures. Twisting hole in everybody. Spilling out limestone, John Hamburger married Jackie Blue Note. Had enough movies. No good, no bueno. Yes, adios, mister. I go home having lost. In sun I held the vacant courage to proffer the mountain wind. And I can see the flesh words answer your summons. No more falling on all flesh. Sheets are empty. The recordings remain. Last human contacts used as model for a bad move. Other identities are a rubbish heap to life form A. Better than shouts, no good, no bueno. Crime child, it's 5 times. Had enough black of absent world. Child of Nova, the story over. I fold distant fingers. The doctor on stage, hand falling. Slow metal fires tap on the bloody sky. I think now I go home. Goodbye to William. You and I fading. Silence to say, you are yourself, Mr. Bradley, Mr. Martin, who never existed at all. Silence to say goodbye. My trouble began when they decided I was executive timber. It happens like this. A big blonde driller from Dallas picked me out of the labor pool to be his houseboy in a prefabricated bungalow. And in solid. When this friend come down from New York, the driller says, this is the boy I was telling you about. Friend looks me over chewing his cigar and says, what are you doing over there with the apes? Why don't you come over here with a board where you belong? He slips me a long, slimy look. Friend works for the track news agency. We don't report the news, we write it. And next thing I know, they have trapped a gray flannel suit on me, and I am sent to this school in Washington to learn how this writing the news before it happens is done. I suss it as the Mayan caper with an IBM machine. I don't want to be caught short in a gray flannel suit when the lid blows off. So I act in concert with the subliminal kid, who is a technical sergeant and has a special way of talking. What are you doing over there? Beat your mother to over here. Know what they mean if they start job, for instance? Apparent sensory impressions, calling slimy terms of the old 50-50 jazz. Assembly points in Danny Deaver. By now, they are controlling shithouse of the world. After that, Minrad Sky. Their eggs all over. These officers come gibbering into the queer bar, don't even know what buttons to push. Run with the apes? Why don't you come across the lawn? And he gives me a long, slimy, responsible-come gray flannel suit. And I am Danny Deaver in drag writing. The news is served, sir. Put it dead. Gibber, this is the Mayan caper. A fat cigar and a long white nightie. Non-payment answers, simple as boardroom reports, rigged 1,000 years. Set up excuse and the machine will process it. Moldy pawn ticket runs 1,000 years, chewing the same argument. I, Sequin, perfected that art along the Tang dynasty. Put it another way, IBM machine controls thought, feeling, and apparent sensory impressions. Subliminal art. These officers don't even know what buttons to push. Whatever you feed into the machine on subliminal level, the machine will process. So we feed in Dismantle Thyself, an authority emaciated down to answer Mr. the Account in Newark, Honolulu, Harris, Home, Austin. Might be just what I am looking. We fold writers of all time in together and record radio programs, movie soundtrack, TV, and jukebox songs. All the words of the world stirring around in a cement mixer, and pour in the resistance message. Calling partisans of all nation, free doorways, vibrate tourists. Word falling, photo falling. Breakthrough in gray room. So the district supervisor calls me in and puts the old white schmaltz down on me. Now, kid, what are you doing over there with the niggers and the apes? Why don't you straighten out and act like a white man? After all, they're only human cattle. You know that yourself. Hate to see a bright young man fuck up and get off on the wrong track. Sure, it happens to all of us one time or another. Why, the man who went on to invent shitola was sitting right where you're sitting now 25 years ago when I was saying the same things to him. Well, he straightened out the way you're going to straighten out. You can't deny your blood, kid. You're white, white, white. And you can't walk out on track. There's just no place to go. Most distasteful thing I ever stood still for, enough to make a girl crack her calories. So I walk out and the lid blew off. Gongs of violence and how. Show you something. Berserk machine. Shift, cut, tangle, word lines. Word falling, photo falling. I said the chief of police skinned alive in Baghdad, not Washington, D.C. Switzerland freezes all foreign assets. Foreign assets? What? British Prime Minister assassinated in rightist coup? Mindless idiot, you have liquidated the commissar. Terminal Electric, voice of sea, hauling door, out of agitated. Ta-ta Stalin, carriage ta. Spectators scream through the track. The electronic brain shivers in blue and pink and chlorophyll orgasms, spitting out money printed on rolls of toilet paper, condoms full of ice cream, Kotex hamburgers. Police files of the world spurt out in a blast of bone meal. Garden tools and barbecue sets whistle through the air, skewer the spectators. Crumpled cloth bodies through dead nitrous streaks of an old film set. Gray, luminous flakes falling softly on Newark, Honolulu, Harris, Home, Austin. and siren towers the twanging tones of fear. Pan god of panic piping blue notes through empty streets as the berserk time machine twisted a tornado of years and centuries. Wind through dusty offices and archives. Board books scattered to rubbish heaps of the earth. Symbol books of the all-powerful board that had controlled thought, feeling, and movement of a planet from birth to death with iron claws of pain and pleasure. The whole structure of reality went up in silent explosions. Paper moon and muslin trees, and in the black silver sky, great rents as the cover of the world rained down.